Hello, welcome. I'm Dave, and if you found this video, you might be wondering how Amazon pays you. Said differently, the Amazon royalty structure for authors publishing through Amazon KDP. So in this video, in our time together, I'm going to focus on the royalty structures for ebooks and for paperbacks. They are different, guys, so depending on the format of book you're putting to Amazon, just know that the royalty structure is different according to each format. A quick summary, for ebooks going to Amazon, Amazon will either pay you 35% or Amazon will pay you 70%. For a paperback going through Amazon's print-on-demand platform, which means you never have to worry about replenishing their stock, Amazon pays 60% of the paperback list price less the cost of printing the book. So let's jump back to the ebook. How does Amazon pay an author? I mentioned 35% and I mentioned 70%. So I know what you're wondering. Well, why wouldn't I just price 70% all the time? I completely get that. For the 35%, just bear in mind, guys, when I speak 35%, I'm going to speak in dollars. Obviously, I live in South Africa. Here in South Africa, we have rands, but we also, unfortunately, don't have our own Amazon platform. And so when we publish on Amazon.com, which means we speak in dollars. So let's say I price my ebook at $10 and I select 35%. Guys, no surprise, I get my 35%. If I select 70%, not a problem, but Amazon sits you down and Amazon says, okay, author, if you select 70%, no problem, but you need to adhere to these three things. Well, I think two things, and just know about the third one. The first two impact whether you are eligible. The third one is just really important to know. So if I price at the $10 mark, or just under the $9.99, for example, and I select 70%, Amazon says, is the price of the book priced how we want it to? That's the most important factor for any of you going to Amazon with an ebook is, are you, firstly, if you're wanting 70%, are you pricing the book how Amazon wants you to price it? And basically what that means is your ebook needs to be above $2.99, but below $9.99. So again, if you select 70%, your book has to be above $2.99 but below $9.99. If you price below $2.99 or above $9.99, you can absolutely do it. But just know Amazon will force you to select a 35% option. So just to recap, the most important thing if you're wanting the 70% option for your ebook is that you price it how Amazon wants you to price it, above $2.99 but below $9.99. The second important thing to know is that it does depend where the reader lives if you get the 70% option. So in this hypothetical situation, I've got a reader in the US who buys my book, and I've got a reader in South Africa who buys my book. Now, as the author, I've selected 70%. I think my job's done, right? I've selected it. I've told Amazon, pay me 70%. It should be that simple. However, Amazon has what's called a 70% list. And if the reader lives in a territory that appears on the 70% list, then yes, you earn, surprise, 70%. If, however, the reader who buys your book lives in a territory like South Africa or most, I think, countries in Africa, then you will only ever earn 35%. Now, it sucks. I don't know why they do that exactly. I would love to know. It especially affects us as authors here in South Africa, but that's the way it is currently. So the reader who buys your ebook from the US would earn you a 35% of a $10 list price, whereas the same book being sold to a reader from South Africa would earn you 35%. This might be a little confusing when you are looking through your sales reports and you see two ebooks sold, one earns 70%, one earns 35%. Just know that more than likely what's happened is the one reader lives in a territory outside of the 70% list from Amazon. So guys, I mentioned three things. I've spoken about two. Again, just to recap, the first was to earn 70%, you have to price above $2.99 but below $9.99. I've mentioned that it does depend on where the end reader actually lives and if they appear on Amazon's 70% list or not. The third thing to know about when selecting 70% is all of a sudden Amazon says, okay, to earn 70%, we're also going to deduct a delivery surcharge from your royalties of 15 US cents per megabyte of file size. So what that means, author, is that you have selected $10 or just under $9.99. You've said 70% please. Let's say the reader lives in 70% territory like the US or Europe. Then you'll earn $7 deducting the delivery surcharge depending on the size of your ebook. So for example, in this hypothetical situation, let's say that your ebook was 1 megabyte. As you loaded it into Amazon, it meant that Amazon would deduct 15 US cents from the royalty rate that you would have earned. So it won't be exactly $7, it would be $7 less the delivery surcharge. That delivery surcharge is not applied if you select 35%. So that's three things, guys. Price how Amazon wants it to price. Be aware of certain territories will earn 70%. Certain territories like South Africa or Africa more than likely would only earn 35% even if you've selected the 70% option. The third thing is be aware of the delivery surcharge, and if possible, ask the people who create your ebook to optimize it for you. This is especially relevant for those authors who are publishing picture-heavy books, cookbooks, children's books, anything with a lot of pictures. Ebooks, they need to be optimized so that the file size is reduced, so that for those of you selecting 70%, you don't give away too much money in the form of the delivery surcharge. So what are the instances that someone might select 35%? Obviously, I know most authors I publish go for the 70% option. There are certain scenarios where 35% is more tempting. And that typically is where the topic being published is not really mainstream. It's quite niche. And the author expects that most readers would live outside of a 70% territories, for example, South Africa. So you think that your book is very South African specific. It's not mainstream, and that means you're probably going to charge quite a high cost, let's say $20, $30. So automatically you are not eligible for 70% royalty. Then 35% is a valid option for an author to select. Also importantly, for those authors who know that their readership might be outside of the first world, consider publishing your book through another platform. For example, Draft to Digital, that's DRAFT. The number 2, digital.com. That would get you into a number of other ebook stores where the royalty rates are a little friendlier to readers who might be buying from, Africa, South America, for example. So guys, that's the ebook royalty structure. Looking at the paperback royalty structure, as I mentioned, it's a single fixed rate. So the ebook pays 35% or 70%, whereas the paperback pays you 60% of the list price less the cost of printing the book. So that means you can price the book at any price above the minimum Amazon recommends, or Amazon enforces, should I say. You aren't allowed to go below that. And you earn 60% of the list price less the cost of printing your book through Amazon. So guys, I hope that explains things well. If I've missed anything, please let me know. It's obviously quite a detailed topic, and there's more things I can explore in the royalty rates of Amazon and other stores. Let me know if I've missed anything important. Thanks for the time. I really hope this helps you.